Hello and welcome to the Instant Impact Event Show. I am Cheryl Williams.
I'm CJ Williams. Hi.
We're happy to have you guys here today. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we have a great topic today, but before we get started on that, we want to remind you guys to share the show.
Yep.
It helps us get it out there. Like, comment, subscribe,
share,
give us a 5-star review. All those things help us get more information out.
Yep, it gets it out there to a broader audience.
How to create impactful and profitable events to more people. So if you know people that you work with, people that you've worked with in the past, maybe you have friends, colleagues, speakers, coaches, trainers, entrepreneurs.
We're there to help.
We want to help everybody, and together we can all move forward and move mountains at the same time, because we know that there's a lot of events that go on, but there's a lot of room for improvement.
Lots.
There's a lot of room for people who want to get into this industry and just aren't sure how to do it, or maybe they've done it before and they did it the wrong way, and so they don't really know how to get back into it. All those kind of things. So the more that you share the show, the more that you talk about it to your friends and colleagues,
to everyone around
the more it helps us, and the more that we're able to grow and impact more people as well. So we appreciate those of you that are doing that, and if you're listening,
thank you for reaching out.
And if we're here to provide value. We want to help you guys. We want to provide as much value as possible. So if you get some sort of value out of this, then make sure that you share the show and get it out there, so that we can continue to get more and more people on board, so that we can help as many people as possible. And like you said, taking notes. Note taking is great, but we always talk about at the end of the show, you got to implement, right?
Yes.
So, listen, absorb.
And remember, whatever you're writing down, figure out a way that you're going to implement your notes.
It's not enough to just listen. You got to act and learn. You got to actually implement and do. You got to take those actions, and not just one today and never again. It's like consistently taking actions, while we're consistently putting out a new show for you guys. Giving you some bite-sized pieces, giving you some things to munch on, some mull over, to actually implement. You can tell it's about lunchtime. So, gotta munch when it's lunch. So but today's topic that we are going to go in on is something that we see a lot of people challenged by. A lot of people are like, well, how am I going to become a coach? Or how am I going to take from coaching into speaking? Or, I don't really know that much. And so today's topic is
take inventory.
And what do you already do? Or what do you already know? Or what do you already have? And so when we're talking about taking inventory, we mean just like that. Just like you get an inventory sheet and you'd say, okay, what do you have? What do you need to work on? What
are you short of?
When we're talking about inventory, if you are a coach, for instance, we're going to kind of give a few examples on this one. If you're a coach and you're taking inventory, we're taking inventory because whenever we're talking about something, we're looking at it from the event side of things, okay?
Always.
So put your event cap on, however you want that to look, right? Put on your event cap, and how can you take what you're already doing in your coaching, okay? And how can you transition that over to speaking or your own event?
Yes.
So, for instance, what are you coaching people on?
And your training and your notes and everything that built up to that.
So when we're saying take inventory, it might take you a little while to go through, because a lot of times we're just kind of flippantly saying, well, I don't know, I don't have anything to speak on.
Right.
There's no way I could have my own event. I don't know how I would be able to fill, 3 hours, 1 day, 2 days. I don't know how I would get people there. I don't really know that much.
Right.
Okay.
Even your Zoom calls will work.
Everything has a knowledge of expertise, no matter where you are.
And how you were getting your training out there in the first place.
Right. So if you're a coach, you're coaching on something. People are coming to you for your expertise about something. What is that? Okay.
Yes, because you are the expert.
And then we need to go a little bit deeper. How are you disseminating that information? Is it solely on coaching? Are you picking up the phone and talking to people? Are you doing group coaching? Are you doing one-on-one coaching? Are you do you have some sort of training material that you cover? Maybe it's a 12-week program, or is it a year-long program? Do you have something that you're walking them through each time you talk? Is it more free-form and free-flowing? Do you have certain things that you do address on each call? like start looking at
Yeah.
that. Do you have recordings of your calls or your trainings?
Yep.
Have you
And what were you doing before the coaching?
right? And do you have PDFs and checklists and worksheets
Right.
and other
Because you started one way and then you transitioned your training in a different way.
Right.
But that other training is also helpful.
Are you a course creator? Do you have a course or courses? Do you have some sort of educational component? Did you record those? Are they audio? Are they video? Is it primarily all done through, have you written books? Have you, like, do you have training material that way? You've got to start looking at
Yes.
what you have. Have you
Yes.
gone out and given 15-minute presentations or 30-minute presentations? Have you spoke on other people's stages?
Yes, even in colleges or schools.
There's so many different ways. And so when you're taking inventory, before you're just like, I don't really have that much, I'm going to have to create something brand new. Normally, you don't have to reinvent the whole wheel.
No.
It's how you package it. Okay?
Correct.
And so
that's a very important part.
what you're doing to package your information is your like vehicle, right? So if you've packaged it into coaching, or you've packaged it into a course, or you've packaged it into consulting.
Yes.
We're now saying it's time to package that into events, into
Yes.
speaking, into this realm.
Right.
Take your knowledge and your expertise, instead of going one-to-one, you're going one-to-many, right?
Yes, you are.
You're making a bigger impact with your knowledge and information.
You are.
But first, you have to take inventory.
Of everything
and we're
you have.
talking about everything. Not like, well, that was so small, it doesn't really matter.
It does matter.
It's all these little
Because that
pieces.
information you could still use.
Right. Because not always are you looking to fill up, a 90-minute slot. Maybe you only have a 30-minute slot you need to fill over here. Or maybe when you come back from lunch, you're going to do something. Or when you want to get
Yes.
started with them in the morning, you want to get
Change
the
it
wheels
up.
rolling. Or maybe you want them to do an activity or a worksheet or a check-in or something that you have had them do before on your coaching or in your
Right.
course. Or
They could do it as a big group also.
Right. So these are all little pieces. Now, that doesn't mean that everything on your inventory list are you going to do something with
Right,
now.
because you're going to go through that and make sure you can use that for your event or not.
Well, you're gonna
or
audit.
maybe, right, and when you do your audit, it might be for something else. You might have two separate events.
Or sometimes, you have your event that you're selling, but then maybe you want some bonuses that you're offering in there, right?
Right.
So
and you had this
some-
course for 10 years ago that you never used.
right, that you can repackage and do something. Or
And
maybe
make some
you
changes.
have, a workbook or a checklist or a swipe file or
Yes.
it's numerous on what a PDF
We're talking about
download.
everything.
We want you to take inventory of everything, okay? And
Yes.
the way that I like to do inventory is at first you just need to write it all, like type it all out, write it all down. Whatever's best for you to keep the information flowing.
Right.
Now, some people are like, well, where am I going to look for this information? So then we got to kind of okay, well, today your information might be over here, but when you're thinking of a couple years ago, 5 years ago, 10
You're going to
years
have it
ago,
in many different places.
it can be in a lot of different places.
Your
So,
drives, old computers.
sometimes old social media, so maybe it's on MySpace, right? Maybe we're going back that far. I mean, you don't know. Like it's
Yeah.
still around. It's still
Yeah.
if you know your password, you're right.
Yes,
Because
that old email address.
right? Or maybe it's, Facebook has been around for umpteen years
Yes.
now. It's been around for like 14, 15 years. Maybe you put stuff on there. Maybe you had a group that at one time you were doing something with,
Yes, that
and you haven't anymore. But
phased out.
you did a lot of live trainings in there. Well, download those and we
Right.
can maybe use those.
Use all that
Or
training.
maybe it'll help jot your memory of, I haven't talked about that in a long time. I should
Yes.
revamp that and over here, right?
And that's still on the subject you're going to be teaching on.
So, social media, go through your social media. Go through your profiles, your groups,
Your
your
closets.
things you belong to. Go through your closets.
Under your bed, storage.
Go through your office space. Go through your storage space. Go through old cases that you might have had. Maybe you put pictures in there. Maybe you put pamphlets in there. Maybe you put drives in there.
Right, and it's good to find this information anyway.
Yeah, 'cause-
Especially when you want to do more.
Because one, it's kind of like a progression. You're like, wow, I have
learned
done a
a lot.
lot. Like,
Yes.
okay. And then you start like, wow, okay, I've been doing this for a long time.
You start getting excited yourself.
Because sometimes we just get so stuck in the day to day. It's like, wow, okay, you're chugging along and it's been 10 years. It's been 15
Yes.
years, right? And you've been moving along and now it's time to repackage all of that information. Take
Yes.
the best pieces of everything,
and you'll be
repackage
surprised
it,
what you have,
and put it back out there. So when we're talking about looking at things, where have you shoved stuff, right? Where have you put stuff? Where
it could be in your mom's basement.
Maybe you did a lot of recordings and it's stuck in your music files. Back in the we used to take and do a lot of voice memos or voice notes. Maybe things are in there.
Right.
So you have to kind of think about, it's like not really like, oh, it might not be on Instagram. It might not be on, TikTok right now.
Now it's going to take you days and weeks to figure this out.
Well, also, it depends on how long you drag your feet. I would like it to take you a day or two to just go. Like if you're going through storage, go through storage. If you're going through boxes, go through boxes. If you're going through a closet where you have a lot of junk and stuff, go through that, right? It's spring cleaning time. Let's get to clean it.
Get it going. If
you're going through your garage, maybe that's where you put a lot of stuff. Your basement, that's where a lot of stuff is. Maybe you've got a storage unit. You need to go down there. Maybe you've got an office and you haven't looked in this one area for a long time.
Or you emptied an office.
And you kind of just put some stuff over the side. So thumb drives, large drives. I mean, hard drives used to be big. Now we got thumb drives.
Yes.
Maybe it's on CDs.
You'll be surprised what's on those drives.
CDs. We used to put a lot of files on CDs. Right. So the progression, maybe.
On the hard disk. What's the disk?
Oh, the floppy disk?
Floppy disks, yeah.
Maybe you still have things on cassettes and VHS tapes.
Beta.
Now, 8 tracks, might be getting a little far back there, but here's the caveat to that. Do you have anything that can play the cassette or the VHS? And if the answer is no, there are places that will take that information off of there for you and put it onto a drive or put it onto a DVD or a CD or something.
And if you don't want to do that, you can still buy something to get that off.
Yeah, so there's lots of options.
Because guess what? You might use that information or that recording and put it into your PowerPoint or Keynote because you were talking about a certain subject that you can use.
Right. Or maybe you're just doing it to show the longevity of how long you've been doing this, right?
Right. And you can show a picture of it.
When you can show a picture or a little video and say, look, I have been doing this since the Stone Ages.
Scott does that now.
As you can see, because here we are.
Right.
I mean, we have some pictures of way back when. And it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but when you look at the outfit, it seems like, man, that was a
long time ago.
The outfits are questionable. And that was only in the...
What, the denim?
Yeah, the denim. That was only in the 2000s, so early 2000s, but still it's like,
She doesn't like looking at that picture.
No, it's a bad looking picture. It's like denim on denim. It's bad. That's bad. Okay. But anyways, it shows that you have been doing this for a series of time, right?
Yes.
A period of time. It shows longevity. It also shows your progression, right?
Yeah, as a person,
it shows that you've stuck with it. It shows that you have expertise in this just by showing old footage or old pictures, or hey, maybe you give a
when you got married, even
of your old. Like an old presentation that you gave, you're like, look how far I've come, okay? If I can do it, you can too. There's all these different ways. It's how you frame it. It's how you package it.
Yep.
But the more content that you have, the more stuff that you have to utilize, and the more, sometimes, like we were doing this a while back, looking back through, it's like, sometimes you just have ideas of things that you've just written down. Maybe you put together a course
or your notes,
or a coaching program, or maybe you even came up with an idea for some events.
And your journals.
And your journal, that's another great place to look at as journaling entries and stuff. Because it helps jot your memory. It gets the creative juices flowing again. It's like, okay, I do. And, where you are now is not where you were back then.
Correct.
Right? Who you are now is not who you were back then.
You've grown a lot.
However, you might be in your event or in your speaking, you might be speaking to the person you were back then. And so what did you need back then? Because that is probably exactly what the other people need that are in your shoes where you were then.
And now you're
what
teaching.
you know now is not where they are right now. I've had this conversation with numerous people. It's like, well, I don't know that much. So I don't really know how I'm going to speak on. I'm like, but you're at the
You've
top
been doing it for 20 years.
echelon in your industry. You know something, okay?
Correct.
Give yourself a little bit of credit. And there are people who are just starting their journey, or maybe they're at a different point in their journey, and they want to get to where you are on your journey, and they would love to know from you some information, some insight, some training, an event,
Yeah.
something, be like, well, here they are. I'm not there yet. So I would like to learn from this person who is so I can get there
Yes.
as well, right?
And they're going to appreciate it even more, and they've learned and want so much more because that's where they are.
Because they can see themselves
And then-
in your shoes where you were back then.
And they're ready to grow.
Right? So don't discount your journey.
Yeah.
Don't discount just because you're over here doesn't mean that along the way you haven't learned things, gathered information, gathered insight, found a better, more effective way of doing things that you could now help someone else down here up to where you are, or
Correct.
at least somewhere closer along the road, right?
Yep.
And that's why taking inventory is so powerful.
It is. Because you're able to find out everything about yourself. And just finding all that information out is going to get your confidence up. It's going to get you more excited. And it's going to get you more readier for your event.
Yeah.
I can do this. I'm ready. And then with some guidance from us, you'll be even more ready.
And just by, you're going to start seeing in yourself, it's like, okay, I have done this for a long time. I have learned a lot. I'm in a much different place
Right.
now than I was 5 years ago.
And you can
or
answer
10
any
years ago.
question.
The questions that people have, I can answer them. That's why we say, if you just open it up for Q&A, so many people are scared shitless of open mic with a Q&A, right?
You can do
But
an
it's
hour if you
Do you
needed
know
to.
what? Open Q&A is the most powerful thing because you stand in a place of power because you're saying any question that you have, I have an answer for. And if I don't
Yep.
have an answer for it, I'll let you know that too, and we'll work on finding the answer together, right? You don't
Correct.
bullshit if you don't know the answer.
No.
And that's
No.
an even more powerful position to be. Is like, I don't
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah, that's
great
a
question.
that's a new one. Yes.
We're going to find out.
Yes. And I'm going to get back to you on
Right?
that.
So it's like open Q&A, fielding those questions
Yes.
is one of the most impactful things of an event. And a lot of
Yes.
people don't want to do it. A lot of people
know.
don't want to open it up for questions and answers.
And you should.
Because they're like, well, what if I don't know the answer?
It's the best part.
Okay. But what if you do, right? Then you're coming
Mm-hmm.
off as the expert. You're helping them because
Yep.
a confused mind, a questioned mind, is not able to move forward until they get the answer, right?
Mm.
So if you can solve the answer for them, they can continue on down the path, and you normally have the answers, okay? So that's why
Yes.
going through and taking inventory and seeing, oh, well, here I was over here. I had these questions
Yes.
when I was over here. Oh, look,
Right.
I was struggling with this over here. And you can kind of walk down memory lane again and start remembering how you felt and what you were going through and what challenges and struggles you had and how did you overcome those. Like, that's all part of your journey,
And-
but that's part of your where you are. That's how you got to where you are now.
Right. And by coaching, you might already have a long list of questions. And you can even add those in your event because people want to know that information because they're going to have the same question as somebody else you were coaching.
Yep. So that's why we say taking inventory is so valuable because it's worth the time to gather the information, to gather the data that you already have,
Right.
that you've already put together. It's uniquely you, it's your perspective, it's your thoughts, it's your information, it's your journey along the way. Because then when it comes time to, here we are, let's put together your event. What are you
Yes.
going to speak on? What is the
Yep.
event going to be about? What package are you going to put together? What bonuses are you going to offer?
are you going to give out?
What education are you going to give out for free? What information can you do? So all of this helps in that because
Yep.
that is you. That is your message.
Everything about you.
That is your information. That is your journey.
You're branded too.
And that's what people want. Is they want they don't need the perfect cookie cutter. I'm over here. I'm so great. They
No,
want
they don't need the
journey,
robot.
right? But they also want to see that you've come from here. You're over here. How can you bridge the gap for them? And sometimes taking a walk down memory lane, gathering that inventory, remembering some of the things that you went through. Because a lot of times we have our head down, we're just going, okay, challenge,
Right.
get it, go,
Get it going.
overcome.
Yep.
And then we don't ever sit down and take inventory of all the things that we've done, all the things that overcome, all the challenges that we've, stepped up and risen over.
Day after day.
All the mountains that we've moved, right? All the struggles. But
What
in
got you-
that struggle, you're here. So
Right.
obviously you made it
it.
somehow.
You made it too.
So
and now you're ready for your next
And like people say,
trip.
your mess, all those challenges, struggle, that is your message. That
Yes.
is what you're speaking on now. There is power in all of that.
Yes, and that's something you could talk about
But
easily.
sometimes we have to go back and gather all of that
Yes.
to remember all that we have so that we can be as impactful, as effective in what you're putting out there, because who you are now is not who you were then, but also where people are that you're teaching or training or coaching or and they're coming to your events, they're not where you are right now either.
No.
So you've got to sometimes be in the perspective, okay, what do they need right now, right? They don't need what you've got right over here. They need some of these steps along the way. And so taking a journey and gathering that inventory reminds you of all of those things so
Right.
that you have a better, okay, I need to actually put this together.
Right, and people don't like talking about all the challenges they had to get where they are now. You have to drag that out.
Yeah.
And that's the best part because it's your story.
That's the story. And people love stories, right?
Right.
People remember stories. They might not remember the training, they might not remember the
No, but
technique.
they remember those
But they
stories.
remember the stories, right? So if you can tell through stories, people will actually remember more of what you're teaching them because you're teaching them through stories, your own stories that are
Yes.
unique to you that only you can tell. And so when you're going through and you're giving your story, your information, these are my challenges and struggles, not for woe is me, not for the
Oh,
pity
hell
party,
no.
because the
No.
difference between
You don't want that
addressing
shit.
a challenge and be like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going through, versus this is
No,
what
I rose above that.
this is what I went through, and this
And I
is how
rose
I
above it.
overcame.
Yes.
Right? There's a difference in that. Not
Yeah,
here
stand
I
in the
am.
wallow.
Right, we're not
Yeah.
wallowing in it.
No.
You're giving the information because this is where I was, this is the challenge
Yep.
I have, this is how I overcame it, and this is where I am now, and you
Yep.
can too.
Yes.
Right?
And you can learn from all my mistakes.
Right. And just like, when you're on a journey, I want to know where the potholes are and the pitfalls are and
Right.
the
Oh,
snake
broke my
pits
ankle
are.
here. I got bit here.
Okay,
Yep.
go around that way, make a left,
Uh-huh.
hang to the right over
Right.
here, okay.
Yes, spin twice.
Right? Then take a flying leap, grab the branch, swing around. Like, if
Yes,
you
do some
knew,
Tarzan shit.
kind of like our kids are into Mario, which is like an old, I played Mario
Yeah,
growing up.
long time.
But there used to be back in the day what they called the cheat sheet. Right? If you wanted to know how to defeat Bowser, get to level 10, there was like this book that you could get. And it would tell you all the different
The
things
secrets.
that you could, how to get to the next level to beat, right? To defeat. Well,
Yes.
that's the same thing in business. Or how can you give them the cheat sheet? How can you give them the recipe? How can you give them
Yeah.
the codes so that they can avoid,
Yes.
the spikes? So they can avoid the pitfall. So they can avoid
We should do a conversation just on that.
avoid the spikes.
No. We should do a podcast just on that.
Look out for Bowser?
Yeah, the challenges.
Okay.
Yeah, cheat sheets.
Look out for Bowser. Look out for those flying shells. You know what I mean? The ghosts that might appear. You gotta look out for all this stuff. The little things that would fly, the flying mushrooms.
Okay.
All that stuff.
See?
But again, if you've been there, and people want your expertise. They want
Yes.
your guidance. And so by taking
They are. They're
inventory,
craving it.
it's like little light bulbs start going off. Okay, I can, I remember that. Ooh, that's a good thing
Yep.
to talk about. We need to address that. Versus just taking what you have now and putting something together. It's much
Right.
more impactful and effective, which means
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's going to be more profitable for you because you're going to be able to help more people.
Right.
By
Even
giving
your
what they
notes. You might take notes after every session of your trainings of when you're coaching somebody. Okay, all your notes that you were taking as your group call or anything else, you've written out notes for what to go back to, what you missed,
Yep.
what was the best part, whatever you did, those are going to help you a lot.
Yeah.
Because I know you didn't get rid of them.
Right. Or you've condensed them down into something. Maybe you've got them on a document somewhere. That's the other thing. Look on your computer,
Yes.
on your documents, other online drives if you might have there too, because there's a lot of stuff in there that you
Right.
just kind of sometimes you go and you type, and then it's like, oh, you don't really get back to it, but you already got that out. So
Yep.
that's what we say. Taking inventory, go through what do you have, what do you know, what
Right.
have you talked
Go
about.
deep.
Just give it some time, fully immerse yourself in that, because the payoff in doing that is going to be you being more you and being able to help more people
Yes.
along the journey, because you've already been on that journey, right? This is not you just talking to people. You can be like,
No.
I went on this journey. I'm over here now. Come to the other side. Here's the bridge, right?
That's right.
And your information is the bridge, okay?
Sure is.
So you got to build
And
the
the
bridge.
roadmap to get there.
Yeah, and you build the bridge with the information that you already have.
Yes.
So think about that. Go and do. Don't just, oh yeah, I'll get to that
No,
someday.
jump on it.
Set aside some time, because this is something that's going to take some time, okay? Depending on
Yes,
where
daily,
all your things
daily.
are, where you're at. Don't let
You
it
might
take
have to go
too
drive
long.
to it.
Don't put it off and procrastinate with it, because you don't really want to. Take some time, set it aside, get in it, because this is going to help you.
Because you never know what could happen. That stuff might get damaged somehow also.
Right.
So you
The
need
sooner
that stuff
you
with
gather it, the better. But this is
Right.
going to help you put together more effective presentations. It's going to help you put together a better event. It's going to help you put
Yes.
together more content.
And put
all
it on
of
the
that.
cloud. Whatever you do, get it on the cloud somewhere so you can always have the information.
And a drive.
Because on a drive,
Both.
on both.
Yeah.
Dropbox, whatever you need to do to keep your information.
The
Because
more-
things happen.
The more you have it in multiple places. We have it in multiple places.
Yes, things happen.
You never know. And, things like
You
that.
need to have that stuff anyway.
You want to have it with you.
Yep.
And it also helps when you have team members to be able to move things around. It just
Right.
helps to have it out there for you to be able to do that.
Yep.
So think about that. Give it some thought. Let us
Yes.
know what we want to hear. Where's the most obscure place that you put some of your stuff?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you have it packed in mothballs and grandma's
Right. Is
closet
it in an
somewhere.
attic somewhere?
Is it an attic? Is it mislabeled something else? Like,
Yes.
I want to hear where
And that could happen a lot.
Where is the most obscure place that you found some of your stuff that you
Yes.
had to dust
Give
off?
you a good reason to go through all your
And
shit.
how far back were you able to go?
Yes.
Right?
Let us know.
Was this 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Like, how
Yeah,
far
50.
back are you going to gather this information? Because that is your story. That is you.
Yes, it
That's
is.
led you to where you are now. So all
Yes.
of this counts towards, helping your end
Don't
message
forget,
come
you can
together.
incorporate all that stuff.
Yep, you can. So we look forward to talking to you guys again
Yes.
soon. Let us know.
Like and share.
Where you found some of your stuff in a comment, or send us over.
Give us 5 stars.
Give us a 5-star review. Share this with other like-minded people so we can continue
Yes.
to help them as well. And remember, it only takes an instant to make an impact. Bye, guys.
Bye.